want her to be last. I want her to talk.
Okay. All right. My name is Jeff Jordan. I've known Esther for 20-some years. We used to work together at May Company in Los Angeles. And Esther was in methods, and I was in corporate planning and research. And I also did, I went through kind of the retail chain of things. I did the operations side and the retail side, buying and running the stores. And I ended up kind of in the marketing function with May Company. And from there I kind of transitioned out of retail. I was there for 5 years. Transitioned out of that to an ad agency, and I worked on the McDonald's business statewide California. I was director of marketing services for an ad agency, DJMC, here in LA. And then I got recruited into fast food. I went to Wiener Schnitzel as director of marketing. I went to El Torito's vice president of marketing. Also worked for General Mills Restaurant Group in Columbus, Ohio. And then the last 10 years I've been in San Diego as VP marketing of the Hungry Hunter restaurant chain. If you don't know the company, it's a mid-scale dinner house chain, steaks, prime rib. It's a $250 million company. We had about 100 locations in 22 different states. And I was there for 10 years. And then 3 years ago I left and started my own marketing consulting practice, which I'm doing now. And by my background, because it's been primarily retail and restaurants, I naturally specialize in retail and restaurant type businesses. In addition to that, I also do a lot of qualitative research. I subcontract out with other research companies and do focus groups and other qualitative type research projects for them. I recently did a project with Esta about a year ago when she opened her branch, the No Taxes branch in Las Vegas. I helped her with that, and then I wrote the marketing plan. Actually helped do a lot more than I usually do, but helped find office space and work on the lease, wrote the advertising, got the advertising placed, and things like that. So essentially I do all kinds of different projects, not necessarily just in retail and restaurants. I have quite a mix of things actually. I kind of like what I'm doing right now, but as Esther said, it's the difference in being employed and self-employed is, as many of you probably know, such a roller coaster, and it's unpredictable as far as what the income on your next project is going to be. So that's kind of unstable, and I like what I do, I just don't like that aspect of it.
And I talked him into doing it, so I feel somewhat responsible.
But it's okay. But, you know, it's going okay.
He's probably making more than I am, but that's okay.
The thing, no, I'm not. Not by a long shot.
Your time is up. We got a little small nothing.
Okay, well, the thing
So I didn't tell you anything about me, but don't
I know. What's appealing to this about me is I think it is interesting. I think it's a unique concept and a niche that I don't see anyplace else, which I always like. The downside might be, I've been involved in other projects like this before where you think it's great, you put a lot of time and energy and effort into it, and it just fizzles and nothing happens. So that's kind of the downside of these kind of projects too. And I have a couple of these kind of going. I don't think that any of them have really come to fruition. So the upside is it sounds exciting, there's a lot of excitement and energy, and everybody's all pumped up in the beginning, and you do put a lot of time and effort into it, unpaid. I think that's kind of the structure of this thing, I'm guessing, is it's a kind of an equity position, and then if it comes to fruition and it's great, it's wonderful because it's like an annuity insurance policy. Once you got the thing up and running and it's profitable, you kind of just sit back and take a percentage, which is always wonderful to work like that. So to me the key is, and I don't know everybody else's background yet, but I think one of the keys to me is sincerity and dedication to the project. I mean, I think we really have to be on it to make it work. Because if you just dabble in it and say, well, that sounds kind of interesting, maybe I'll work on this part-time and do my other thing, I don't think it works out too well. So that's kind of my take on it, but I really like the concept of it. It sounds really, really interesting and a lot of potential.
Cynthia Shock. My area is computer graphics, print production mainly. I worked with Esta in her new office too, doing the ads and things.
I never met her. I didn't know it was
I just put it together myself.
And I also have background in marketing.
One more coffee. Nice coffee. Chocolate coffee.
You know what, that sounds good tonight. Well,
You had to have ordered it before.
wow.
A little minor detail.
The chocolate phosphate is basically chocolate syrup and club soda.
It's like a egg cream.
Without the
It's kind
milk.
of like a
My name is Dan Schaff. This is my wife.
God, I really went over it.
That's all right. That's good. That's good. Now, I worked back at May Company too, but in the toy department. I think when they were in
Maybe we all
marketing.
worked
We
at
didn't know
Macy's.
you.
I was 16 at the time. My background is multimedia development and internet development. I do website development and special graphics for websites themselves. I also do CD-ROM development for multimedia type applications and video development and special effects for video and film.
Take your card.
Oh, okay.
My name is Judy Amicangelo, and I've known Nest about 10 years, and she's heard all of my crazy ideas become real business things, because it is how I make. I've never been employed, only self-employed my whole entire life, and done things like, well, I hadn't an interior architect and had a design firm for 20 years, but most recently in the downturn in LA, done a lot of OEM, which is original equipment manufacturer design. And one example would be I designed textiles, took a 20-year ahead technology from Europe, made a joint venture here, and the designs are now in 900,000 Ford Explorers. So it's the whole kind of manufacturing understanding of the process with what is a very, I mean, it is design. So, and then recently I'm always starting new businesses. So I know what Jeff said, that you can't follow, you have to follow through, but my next business, which there's only two now, it's only two, was I have children. I had nowhere to put them after school. I've been an art teacher, taught at Art Center. We started an after-school program that is huge. It's out of hand. We have a new corporation. Nest is always advising me to grow and grow and grow.
Can't keep up
And
with it.
it's a great test market for your products, because we just probably doubled in size in the last year. And we're giving art and music and classes.
Just tell a little something about what you do with that, because that's something that might connect to this.
Well, we have a class program, and the classes after school for specifically the arts, and they're in LA Unified. I'm actually in a contract with them now to provide it for the schools. So I'm used to dealing with somebody that bureaucratic here. They're very weird.
She said, we need you, and I said, I think we need you. And that's how we connect. And that's how we connect with this.
And your idea is wonderful. You can make it happen. The most important thing is to follow through. That's it. Mine took 20 years to happen, and now I do get royalties. But it was a long, long, hard process. But if you have the vision and the way to do it, you got to go from beginning to end, and it's not short. I've never had this many people work on anything, so maybe it'll be fast.
Well, I said I invited 15 people, and I think we're 9. Karen's husband didn't come. So I mean, I think we have good odds. And the other people, I have to tell you, were still interested. The date was just no good. No matter how hard I tried to get a date, it's very difficult to get a hold of kids on a Sunday morning. One was going to a kid's graduation, the other one's out of town on business. I mean, but that's why I wanted to tape record it, because I want to get back with these people.
What areas were they?
Money.
Money. We need those people here.
Money.
No, you know what? I got. I'll talk to you guys.
But I spoke to him. He's still interested. He's just not. He's out of state right now. Okay. I had somebody that came in and said, "I got a couple $100,000. I want to throw to a project. Do you have any ideas?" I said, "Wait a second. Let's finish this tax return, then we need to talk." And he was my last client that day, so I had all night to talk to him. It didn't make any difference. When he left, but he started giving me ideas. I mean, he got right into the tone of things and started throwing me ideas. And I said, when he left, I was shaking, and I said, I can't believe it. It's like it's something that might be coming towards me instead of going away from me. There's something more with this vision. It was very interesting. Yeah,
I think
so I don't
when
know.
they come back, we'll let people throw it around.
Let's continue, Chris.
Okay, my name's Christina Shambo. I've got a background in sales, marketing, and seminar presenting. I'm an expert on the subject of divorce. I I'm published in 4 languages on the subject of divorce. But, no, really.
I wonder,
I've been a guest expert on Oprah and Geraldo and
that's
shows
where I've
like
seen
that.
you before. Oprah.
Those names you
You might
recognize.
have.
She looks very familiar.
And, I've been doing different kind of sales and marketing projects, but my first love is seminar presenting. And I'm looking to cultivate multiple streams of income. I've been taught by the master.
That's right.
Saying I'm trying to do it again. I never know when to stop. I'm trying to do it again.
Karen. My name's Karen Acomando. I started out in sales and marketing and at Xerox and then Boise Cascade. And then I went into the field of environmental compliance, and that's how I started talking about this. But I also just had a baby 2 months ago, so my whole schedule was completely changed.
So she wants to work out of the house.
That's good. That's part of my interest there. Thank you. It's a pretty heavy schedule, but it's getting better. Yeah.
Karen, while you're talking about yourself, would you just give a little resume of John's background and the interests and stuff? That's her husband, who couldn't be here then.
John does all kinds of things, but John was an Italian professor at UCLA and now handles the overseas programs. So we usually go overseas every summer, and we'll be going in a month. Everything's okay with the baby, yeah.
That's right.
But John also, he's also published things like he's got language tapes and books, and, things having to do with language and so forth. So desktop
Yeah,
publishing.
and he's desktop, that was
Yeah.
the key word I wanted to hear. Yeah, I've heard this all.
He's babysitting, so he can go.
Not everybody.
Yeah.
He's an excited new daddy, so that's okay.
Or maybe he has a cold already.
Congratulations on getting out.
Yes. It's very complicated, I'm finding.
Oh, it's raise your hand.
Hold that mic down that way a little bit.
And Stuart.
There you go.
Okay, my name is Stuart Hambro, and I've been running an interior design business for about 8 years now, and I do all the buying and selling. I do all the customer service relations. I handle fabrication, production, and distribution of all the stuff. Just to make a long story short, this idea is a total gold mine, and I felt with the right team and the right people handling it the right way, that it is the best thing I've ever heard. It makes my hair stand up. And I have people, I do a lot of work for people in the movie industry and stars and this kind of work, and I have a lot of connections to get different things promoted. And the bottom line, though, is the idea is a gold mine, and I really mean that in my heart. It makes me emotional to think about it, but I'm telling you, the microcycle idea to take off to stages that we all would never dream to be in, and I really mean that. Because I think, I really think think about the little owl, give a who's so free, that's a little peanut, and that one just exploded. There's nothing like it. And the recycling and the product that you have, it could go to directions that could be gotten or went to are limited. I have a whole list of things that I've been thinking about this for a period of time, not telling people, but I know in my head you have something that we don't even know. And once it's brought into the right circle with the right people, the options are unlimited because the product will sell. And I discuss things with Esther and whatever, and I don't mean to go off into another direction. It's not talk about myself. But the bottom line is the product, and I'll tell you, if you go through the kids and the children, you get sponsorships and promotions through people maybe who I can get endorsing the product. Well, we'll talk. And I really mean it.
That's exciting. Okay, take like this, it's hot.
Your idea and your concept creating this little person.
And you have one egg?
The directions and the opportunities are unlimited. I mean, I've already, you can get, they really are unlimited. There's so many things you could have. I mean, there's a lot of things, and we'll talk about more things.
Yeah, we're going to go through all of them.
But anyway, so I run a business. I've been involved with business and buying. I deal with customers. And I do an upholstery shop, so I know about foam and sewing and all that kind of stuff too. And that's part of that. That's another little entity to that. But again, the bottom line is the product, and I feel the opportunities are unlimited, and the directions that could be gone to are so wide open. It's unbelievable. And I really mean it. I'll go over some of the things I've thought about and some of the things that we all need to put our heads together and brainstorm. And the thing can just take off and go so far. It's unbelievable. And I feel that. And I want to share that with
These two guys at the end of the table that talk too much.
No, he didn't. I'm not going to talk hardly at all.
No, but introduce yourself, please.
Okay, well, I'm just sort of in the background on this one a little bit.
How about saying who you are first?
My name is Patrick, and actually, I cross sometimes with. Okay, anyway, my field's a little bit different. My field comes from music, and I'm a music producer, a conductor, arranger, composer, all that stuff for 30 years, and was a child performer and all that. Got into this end of the business. And do a lot of, I know the computer platforms, I do a lot of digital editing and all that sort of thing, multi-track digital editing, in fact, and do a lot of mastering of CDs and CD-ROMs and all that stuff. That's where you and I sort of cross paths. And, but basically, the lady to my right is the creator, and I met her about 23 years ago in Honolulu, and she was a absolutely top world-class dancer and a great costume designer, and we met because we were working on the same show. And at that time, fell in love immediately and all that. And then we got married and got married, and we have two kids, and who are now. One is about ready to leave teenage age and become 20, and the other one's going to be 17. And not only is she really creative and talented, but she's a sweetheart on top of it. So let me introduce you to my wife, Natalie.
Just tell a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk about the idea we're going to talk
Okay. My name is Natalie. This is my Tootsie.
I talk a little louder because I'm getting obnoxious.
To scare you to death, I have absolutely no artistic background as far as training. But I have been drawing all my life. I work all the time on this. I do mostly freelance. I have worked in textiles somewhat. I worked for Ron Lee, who does clown kind of type little things for years. Basically, I'm just doing freelance right now. I started with
Onion bagel. Here's some rye bread for your salad.
Michael Recycle started as a snoo, just a little snoo. That is an earless bear extraordinaire, has Make-A-Wish eyes. He was just a little character for my children. Later, doing one of the books, there are 4 children's books involved. One of them, he started out, it's a little story where he starts out as a little pack rat. You know, he picks up everything around all over the place. The pile starts growing.
Can I interrupt you for now? I think we should talk some generalities, maybe Google or something. Okay, so now we're going to go through the story of how this whole thing got started. You want to see the whole product itself. We bought pictures and we bought the real thing. And then we'll go from there and we'll see what interest there is, what comments, etc. Okay. I'm passing around pictures of the articles that we can see the real thing.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, like I said, Michael Recycle actually started as just a little snoo, which is an earless bear, Make-A-Wish eyes. That's all he was. Just a little character. The 4 books, which we have 3 of here, it needs to be redone. All are based on either recycling, self-esteem, how to treat yourself and people around you. In writing one of the books, the one of Michael Recycle, what's new? Like I said, he starts out as a little pack rat. He picks up everything around. He starts getting so much he has to walk around with a crutch. Pretty soon, he moves into a house in town, and the walls start splitting because he's, likes to pick up pennies, whatever. He finally gets so upset he doesn't know what to do. And here comes this Vision, who is a wizard. And he teaches Michael Recycle all about recycling, and Michael Recycle turns into Michael Recycle. I don't know exactly how to explain it. You need to read the whole book. Where he turns, first he learns about the recycling for cans, paper, plastic, aluminum, and how to recycle. And he says, well, I want to do more. And so he evolves into making things out of the trash that he has. It ends up with a little ending, which is supposed to be humorous, where he decides to make a ladder to the moon, and he does. He reaches the moon, and that's the ladder with all the things he has. Now I think I'll go into the characters. He has 13, there's 13 friends actually that go with him. Michael Recycle is here he is. He's amateur magician, amateur musician, but his heart is in recycling. His little pockets show the, paper, glass, cans. His little hat has, and he has told us tattoos. Oh.
No, because Patrick moved back once he put the stuff down.
I couldn't because
But then once she's done,
Yeah, this is Michael Recycle. And along with Michael Recycle,
all over there.
this is Michael.
He's cuter in person than in picture.
Well, it's actually a good shot. It's like
So, this is him. He's just like that, has his little polo panties.
He's awfully quiet.
Pardon?
He's quiet.
Yes, he's very quiet.
well behaved.
Well behaved, yeah.
Baby, yes. Has the little Make-A-Wish eyes, and he is almost like my son now. It's really strange. But that's him. His next friend is Crash. Crash travels in a cartwheel fashion. His head always has to be higher than yours. He's a loudmouth. He's a smart mouth. He always has to have the last word. He's a pain, but he's his friend. And that's Crash.
That's one I like.
Crash. He's the best, yeah. Hummy is his little brother, who is also pain always. His little brother. Hummy walks around in a sing-song fashion. Oh yeah, hi, how are you? That's all he does. He has not much personality to him. Snoozy is in love with Michael, of course, but nothing there. She likes to make goodies. She's very feminine, but don't mess with her. She has her slingshot, and she's good at it.
So they're the same age.
Yes. Yes, and she's very good at it. No one messes with her. Woo-Woo has absolutely no purpose in life. Has a little dragon, has his pinky. Woo-Woo. At all times. Basically what happens is he's always at the wrong place and he's always asleep. He wakes up only for the last word, and he has no purpose. We just love him. Toots the Coolberry is a Fonzie type character. He's very cool, has a skateboard, lives in a cave, and basically is just there, very quiet, but always helping out. They're all into recycling. They are the team. These are the Moose Pie babies, Damien and Darren. This one is a loudmouth.
Those are our kids.
Those are my sons. Damien and Darren. Damien is very smart, very quiet. Darren thinks, has no fear, jumps off cliffs, takes his brother with him. This is Vision. He has, yes, he is the wizard. He appears out of any drop of pure water, clear water. So he's actually the background for the recycling. He started it with Michael, and the team goes with him. He actually doesn't interfere with anything they do. He just guides them. This is Scatterrot. He oozes slime. He is from the planet Putron. He came here accidentally because he was shot. Actually, he was hit by the spinning moon when it got him just at the wrong angle, and he ended up here. He is contained at this time in a dome because he has to live with Putron gas. He can only come out for short amounts of time, and he causes havoc. They get him back into the dome because he needs that gas. He oozes constantly. He's disgusting and gross.
He's very original, though.
And has little kind of octopus type tendencies. His henchmen, Ick and Yuck, are always fighting over who is more handsome. And they are just gophers and do this and do that. That's all they do. And last is Katrina. She plays both sides of the fence. She's very feminine. She's good, she's bad, she's everything. But there's good and bad in all of us. This is the island. They are on a floating island. It can be anywhere, anytime. What happens, this is the dome that Scatterrod is in. You can't tell, it's kind of small. The dome that Scatterrod is in, he's built his own domain there. Pretty much on this side. This is the recycling center, emergency. They have a stage because Michael is into magic and this and that, which causes problems. There's 3 tree houses and a cave. So from all of this, and then they have a lost penny mine, and from all of this comes quite a few stories.
Really?
Quite a bit.
Looks like Catalina.
Does it?
That's excellent.
You're a wonderful artist.
Now then we have the game, which is, here we go. This is the game, has the instructions, it's all on how to learn to recycle.
And of course, it's all recycled.
Yes, it's all recycled materials.
Beautiful.
This is Michael Recycle. Basically what it is you set up the cans in the middle.
Wonderful.
Each child has a game piece color-coded. They start out at the beginning. It's kind of like a Monopoly type movement. Depending on what garbage they have, because they're all given one of each, they place one of the pieces. So let's say if they have glass, okay, glass would be placed in. They roll the dice. It runs around the board. Depending on what you land on is how you would move. You want to get rid of your pieces as soon as possible. So if you land on the proper square, you can recycle it. Okay, so it goes into the bin. Yeah, if it goes into the bin properly. You learn right, you learn left, you learn turns, of course. There are also little things like I think 5 spaces for a new recycling idea. Like if somebody can come up with something new, then you get to go 5 spaces. Think of something nobody's thought of. There's plant a tree, move a space, things like that. And that's basically it.
So the object is to get rid of the pieces, right?
Right. The first one to get rid of your pieces. So once you get rid of
When you
one,
get rid of all your trash.
you would go to the next one, like a can, a soda can.
Separating all.
Until you get rid of all 4.
You recycle it all away.
Teaching them how to
There's
separate all
glass,
this stuff.
there's newspaper.
It's amazing.
Right. There's newspaper, there's glass paper, and plastic.
Yep.
And
And
plastic.
cans and plastic.
Right. So that's basically the game.
That's mind blowing.
Now, did I tell you this woman is talented or what?
She's extremely talented.
Very good.
What I lied to
You don't need any help with any vision, that's for sure. You've done everything.
But isn't it
The
interesting?
game is as is, ready.
But by developing all these characters, there's also a storyline to everything.
She needs a publisher.
Yeah, but not just in book style. You mean cartoon style? You can go in a lot of different things. You can work on greeting cards. This is the stuff that I saw as I
One
was sitting in
starts
the airport.
the
How
next.
this could blossom what they
TV
can
show,
do.
movie.
Now we have these
Oprah
are what
now,
you've
they
seen
can
already.
release Oprah.
You've seen already. These are recycled hits. They're old song titles. These are for cards. So this one would be With a Song in My Heart. He has a little gramophone in there, kind of old
And I
style
love
thing.
that. Jane Fonda.
Happy Birthday Baby, it's on a record. Memories. This is dedicated to the one I love. I forget what they all are. Anyway, there's just lots of them. Yeah.
You're all I need.
And what are these?
Just the 2 of them on an
Are these
that's
for like greeting cards?
Right.
Oh,
Or t-shirts. That could be t-shirts. We also have a recycled hug t-shirt where he's actually hugging you.
Oh.
This is basically like a storyboard type thing for type show. I also have a script for a Saturday morning type TV show, and also a script for a game show, Barney, with a Barney type
Saturday morning
character, who is Michael Recycle, but he is like a puppet type Barney, where he walks around. He's actually physical. The game board is the actual set, and they have like curtains where curtain number 1, number 2, number 3, other additional characters that I don't have here. Involved, and each character would be pulling one child in a wagon around the game board so that they can play their pieces, and they would actually have them physically in the wagon with them as they're pulled around the square. And that's about it.
Which also allows you
Oh, that's
to
all?
appeal to the handicapped. They can pull them around and do things. They can participate. So I brought this woman just because she had no place else to go today. You ever seen them when you're talking about you?
Yeah, Patrick said you just sit around and be a housewife.
And the first thing I said to her when she just showed me Michael was, when do you have time to do all of this?
She loves to do it.
Yeah. And she said, I do this in my spare time. I said, spare time? The woman has a full-time job. She has a family. And she's doing all this stuff. And she's developed these things. And she had them all in this little box, and she just kept pulling the stuff out like they're going, oh! And those of you who really know me know I don't do that very often. And it was just very amazing to me. And I finally said, okay, I want to know something. Why are they in the box? Isn't there something we can do with this?
They live there.
Yeah. We got to move it forward. Because all this time and effort has to be worthwhile to do something with, and the proper stepping stone with the proper, people to do it all with. So we're looking for someone to make this happen, one step at a time. See what the course is going to take, and we want to make it more like a club for children that they can grow with. And the reason we want to do that is we don't want to just sell them, let's say, an article like this to all that they carry them home with them. That maybe, if it's promoted properly, make a couple $100,000 and go bye-bye. Something new will come out and it's gone. We want this to live with them. Something like the Mickey Mouse Club we lived for years when we were younger.
I belong to that.
You're not going to get up and sing M-I-C-K?
No, I still have my Cinderella watch, too.
Well, I have a real Mickey Mouse watch. So many people keep telling me that.
Keep it.
I saw those
original
you have
stuff.
those little Mickey
Oh,
Mouse
the
little
dreidels that I bought. Yeah, those were like anyway, but the way Mickey Mouse existed before there ever was a Disneyland or anything, we don't want to have a Michael there, I don't think. But anyway, that type of a concept, or combining that with the same concept or idea of how Charlie Brown kind of lifted right off the comic strip page and became a big thing that's sitting all over the place now, in all various types of ways of doing this. So we're looking for people that can help us do that kind of thing. I can coordinate and put people together. I can do the business and everything, but I know Zippo about creating anything. I know Zippo about manufacturing anything and things of that sort. So I'm trying to put together a cohesive team that wants to grow, and that's why I wrote my cute little sentence in that little letter about this could be a great retirement plan. Because if it's really done properly, see, I have that kind of a vision to see that this is many years. You can start with the younger children with the books, wherever they ended up.
right here.
With the books?
Yeah, with the books or something for younger children, and then maybe as they start school age or
But Esther, there's always young
We also
children.
have,
and it is more popular again. So that,
we also have a booklet, I don't know how you'd say it. It's on how to recycle your household materials into lookalikes of equipment that's on TV.
Can I just say real quick, as
grade
far as
for
reflecting
adults.
back to what
Because we're
Esther
gonna go
said,
around the table,
I had written some things down, and I felt like the membership club, the Michael Recycle Club, was just a goldmine idea to get the product out to people, have them understand what he is, who he is, and what he's telling the kids. With a year membership, a hat, a doll, a shirt, something to get them out there, to get them known, a certificate for each child. I'm in the Michael Recycle Club. He puts his hat on, he goes to school, the kids go, wow, where'd you get that? On top of it, they maybe get the doll. You could have monthly dues or a yearly membership. I mean, there's 100 million kids.
Stuart, hang on for a second.
I'm going to stop.
No, I just want to run the concept part of what we've looked at and how we want to do this. So we're interested in bringing this through to the community through a form of education. Since they live in Nevada, and if we would have formed this as a Nevada corporation. We're free of paying any kind of California tax or anything. We're only obligated to the IRS. So you want to get a turn? Impossible.
That's the business animal.
Anyway,
That's right,
there
though.
you go. Anyway, but the idea is to be able to get into an educational environment, get them to like it enough by going to, like, let's say the Las Vegas Board of Education. You know, Vegas is growing by leaps and bounds, and therefore every year they've been opening 10, 15 new schools. If you deal with the chambers of commerce, you find the big thing that they're asking for constantly is school teachers. I mean, they have a whole brochure. Everybody I knew that taught school in the United States, I got a brochure and I sent the whole thing out to them. If you really think about relocating and doing something, you should look at this, they're desperate. So they're looking for ideas, and of course they have means in which they have to train people. We can use them if they allow us to come in and maybe speak to their first and second graders at different locations, let's say once a month or something. Bring in the doll, or as I was saying, make an outfit like a puppet or something and be Michael as you're doing it. Because that's, yeah.
And at the same time, handing out brochures to kids.
Whatever.
explaining
No,
what
but
it
really
is, what
things
the
were,
product is.
so they join the club. We don't know what the pricing should be yet because we haven't priced it out. But they would join the club for, let's just argumentatively say, $5 more than what it would cost if they just bought the doll, as an example. What they would get in addition to Michael would be a certificate that they can hang on their wall in a little tiny frame because every kid wants to show what they belong to. We would start sending out a monthly newsletter. The monthly newsletter would just be one page in a 3-part fold. On the back side, one flap is the label, and the bottom flap is selling another product that belongs to Michael. These products I felt should be no more than $5 in cost because of the fact that we don't want to have the parents feel, oh my God, every month I got to buy something for another $5 or something. Anything under that. And they're all things to educate children, such as a toothbrush with the Michael Recycle logo on it, the importance of children brushing their teeth, as an example.
Is that a recycled toothbrush?
From your
I
mouth
don't know.
to mine,
Yeah, I don't know.
No, Michael is endorsing these products.
Oh, okay.
He is not doing the other. He's an endorsement. Okay? Or something like, let's say, children's sunglasses with the logo on it, saying how important it is to cover your eyes so you don't get a bad sunburn or something of that nature. So we would have these little products advertised. We'd set up a database so we'd know who bought what, so we could track what newsletter, let's say, goes out. We would run little kind of contests for the 6 and 7-year-olds to write, why recycling is important to them. What do they do to help their parents recycle? Things of that sort. With some kind of a contest. Maybe there'd be some points involved with selecting a prize or something for whoever wins. Or whatever the thing that works with it. So they'd have that. We would also track a child's birthday. When their birthday comes, they get a birthday card from Michael. As an example. Just to get them going on this thing. And that's what kind of takes the extra $5 or so in the cost of joining as opposed to, let's say, just buying the Michael. Okay, the main part of the advertising budget, once we do the marketing, which is Jeff was talking the difference, because I knew that, what do you call it, is to have the children doing the advertising for you. The kids are, carrying the doll, the kids are wearing the sunglasses, the kids are doing whatever. Gee, if Tommy has one, I guess I want one too now. And we want to appeal to the grandparents. Because the parents will say, God, I got 4 kids, there's just so much I can spend. But grandma's never going to say no to a kid that wants something that's $5 or less. Is that really interesting? And ultimately, if we get enough interest, and this really moves, we can get up in age, because the game obviously is for older children and the books or the doll will be. And then we can begin to kind of work into things that would include the parents, or join things as a family type of environment. So you're anywhere from T-shirts to greeting cards to, maybe some kind of a regular storyline or something that ultimately could become a Saturday morning TV kind of thing. Until you said that, I didn't think about that. I have 2 clients that write for Saturday morning TV. That's what they do.
I know a lot.
That's what, and they're all working here this year.
And a publisher.
So what my point is, if it's handled rightly and we don't get too big and run away from ourselves too soon, and everything is covered properly, I think this has a lot of potential. So the reason I kind of brought everybody together today was just to see what their interest was or their wasn't. If they were interested in being part of this happening, if they were interested what they really thought they wanted out of it. Did they just want to get paid for their time? Did they want, some kind of an interest? Where they stood, so we can kind of develop what direction we're going. I will tell you that as far as I'm concerned, I think they're concerned, we're going to go with this someplace.
Sure.
You know, we definitely are. Whether you're interested or you're not interested, we're going to do something. So I just wanted to be informal. I wanted people to meet everybody. I wanted to see what was going on before we actually get to a business plan and put it all together. That's the next step. The things are copyrighted, licensed, and protected, so it's like nobody else has those names. We've been looking about selling.
US?
Did you do all that?
Arizona? Or
Copyright?
I'll check them. National.
United States.
The new Stan and Jan Berenstain.
And anyway, but the
Bears.
there.
Is that the name?
I think she has enough. I think that
No, but you see what I'm saying? So that's what we're looking at, because we know we can't do it alone. Like I said, look, I know nothing about manufacturing trade. That's not where my head is. And, I don't want to learn something new like that at this point in my life. I just don't. But I do think it's an opportunity. We're interested in seeing how much time anybody has to dedicate to it, what their little niche would be so that we get the right players, and going from there. So if it's okay with you guys, I just want to quickly, and again, you can all do it privately or otherwise, but I just want to go around the table again and see what kind of interest that you're seeing, anything, or what your opinions are, maybe other than what you came with or something. Not to know.
Well, I mean, my interest is extremely high. Like I said, I think it's a terrific niche. It's unique. It's got a lot of applications. As we just started talking to everybody's got about 25 ideas of where it could go.
That's exciting.
So my interest is extremely high. I would like to be involved and participate. My expectation is not to be paid. My expectation
Wait a minute,
is
get me
to...
off the floor. I still owe you.
No, you don't. Pay me. All right, pay me off. So I think that would be my expectation, is to... one important thing that occurs to me is I think we have a lot of different types of sales and marketing types as we went around the table. So I think
But we don't know if everybody wants to do that.
right, and I think there are different expertise areas in each of those. So I think it'd be very important to differentiate and segment who's going to do exactly what.
Oh, yeah. Well, once we know who's who, yeah. No doubt about that.
So my expectation would be to put a lot of hard work behind this, get this quickly launched, because I think this is a really hot idea that we don't want to sit on anymore.
No, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid if somebody will come up with something similar and we would have spun our wheels on that. I mean, all this work and effort sitting here seems stupid to lose.
Yeah, so I think time's of the essence, so I think we need to move fast, really fast on this. And my expectation is to some type of percentage or equity position or something like that. But I don't expect to be paid by the hour or project basis or something like that.
Yeah, I'll tell you all right now, there isn't very much money until we actually get something. And we're looking to either grants or this guy back.
That's not the appeal of this anyway.
Parlay it into something.
But here's my quarter.
That's it.
so you need backers.
Well, either that or we need a grant from the government. There's a lot of education and recycling grants out. But the problem with that is it takes
So long.
I wouldn't want to go that avenue. I'd want to just all put our thoughts and hopefully a little bit of money.
Well, we'll see.
here
We'll
and
see if
there,
we really
and all
have
put
this
it
guy that's
together.
really hot
I'm
to
telling
trot.
you, that's how it begins, and that's how a corporation and a major corporation could take the first step. And exactly what you said.
Yeah.
There's so
Well,
many-
again, we have to do. Then maybe we need to hone up a presentation to send it to the right people again.
I mean,
But
I
that's
think
step
like
number one.
Coca-Cola and Pepsi, I mean, they would.
We don't want too much of that. You know why?
Well,
Because they're gonna want it all.
down the
You know,
road,
she will
maybe-
give you 20%. We want 80. Well, out of
No,
those
these are
Or
copyrighted
sponsors.
products. They don't have to get it all. You can negotiate that they don't.
Right.
I
I
think
agree.
that this is extremely well developed already. I had no idea how far you've taken it. You could walk into
That's why I
any
said you have to
publisher.
come and see this.
Yeah, but I mean,
fine.
I think all the educational aspect is thinking way too small. Mass marketing is,
Well, yeah, but we want to do that too. You know, I have to
you
see-
can do them both, but I mean, I know from the educational field, you're limited every time you turn around. And the Mickey Mouse Club did well because it was on television from day one.
But we're not able to buy TV time at this point.
So what I'm saying is that, but she is able to get her books published as is. They're already, her characters are fully developed. Everything's copyrighted. There's nobody that can take this from her.
The most fully developed
Does that mean you're interested?
They can't. They can't take
Judy,
this
is that-
from her.
The product is, there's a product, it's made, it's done, it's developed, the
Does that
books,
mean
and it's
you're
copyrighted. So
Yes, but I don't think it's that difficult. I'm telling you, you need contacts and money.
No, you have to that the money's a big part. You have to understand
contacts.
from the creative standpoint, she doesn't really know a lot about this other stuff. She doesn't need to.
She knows
She doesn't
plenty.
need to.
She's
She
a,
doesn't
what
need to.
she does know, though,
She knows what I'm saying. No, well, that's why I say she's it for that purpose, and that's why I said I will help you work the business end, and you stay with the creative end because that's
You gotta have a good contract writer and a business negotiator, lawyer. That's what you need
yeah,
I think, right now. I would love to help you, but I have to figure out how. I mean, this is such a developed.
I moved it over here.
It's so developed. I mean, it's not conceptual at all. You have it figured out from every
The
angle.
hard part's
I don't feel that.
now it's just
Right,
finding the right thing.
right.
It needs to be marketed. That's all.
Yeah, but developing the idea and the concept, that's
It's done. We
that's,
can't
that's
help
the
her.
part. No,
She's-
that's done.
She's completely.
Yeah,
It's
you know,
very,
actually, I
very
will,
wonderful.
just
You're
for
really
more
talented.
Yes,
You don't need our help for that.
Yes, I do. Judy, stop a second. Let's go here.
Internet. Yeah, I mean, that kind of thing is great.
Oh, I'd love to see, number one, the map of the island. I could see that just being right on the website. You click on
You got
each
it.
place, you
Website
go
help.
there.
Your help
and
is invaluable.
I could see that being
That's what we
both.
want to sell. We really want to sell all over the
That's
world.
just another entity.
It could be a
And, you know,
CD-ROM as
it
well as
might-
an internet site.
Sure, sure.
The internet site could
Manufacturers.
could even sell the product. You could have all your
It
whole
runs,
product
what does
line
it run, about
on the website.
$1,500 a month though? For
You know,
website?
No, it depends.
No.
Depends
But
on
I'm
the number
telling
of
you-
pages, it depends on the setup.
No. It's like if you have your own domain, it's $150 a year, and then
That's right.
maybe $70
It's
a
very
month.
affordable.
Yeah, I do it myself.
$70 a month per page.
I want
No,
you
no,
to do
no, no,
mine
no, no,
website.
no.
Well,
For about
anyway,
15
that's-
minutes, you could do your whole site for about probably $100 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact,
It's really well worth
with your
it.
talent, I don't know, do you computer at all?
But he does.
No, see, here's the thing. And I didn't tell you. I was telling Stu that my son, my oldest son, is really into 3D digital animation, and he's getting really good at it. So we have in-house digital animation for the website or for any other reason, movies, television.
Great, because I do that exact same type of work.
Do you?
I've
Well, great. Well, then the two of you could work it out. You know?
Absolutely.
You've got a good account. You have a good business attorney,
Yeah, but I do.
but you need
That's
a
where
good
she comes in
business
again.
attorney.
Right,
No,
right.
I do.
And you know, somebody contractually that can take you. You can't lose your idea if it's copyrighted. Going to big
and actually, her
corporations.
brother, his attorney, her brother specializes in trademarks, patents, and that stuff.
There you go.
He does the whole thing. Yeah.
There's also
I
one
said
more.
over my lifetime, I've collected a lot of people in contacts.
Well, sure, because that's your trade.
I think we have contacts for you.
But there's one more direction I'd be interested in talking to you about. I am about to embark on developing pilots for 3 or 4 game shows.
Great.
Right now, I just was hired to do that. So I'm looking for property.
Fabulous.
Although I don't think
Children's game show?
Children's game show.
well,
Now, let me think about that.
it's my call.
It's not a children's.
It's whether we go with
It's
children.
not a children's thing.
No, recycling is the whole thing, but it could be children's. It's really supposed to be virtual reality, interactive type
That's
game
fabulous.
shows. So when you pulled out and said you were thinking of this board game as a game show with the board game being the set, I thought, oh my God, I was just developing set ideas of board games, and then I just signed a non-disclosure saying I wouldn't do anything like that.
Yeah,
But I would definitely like to talk to you about that. Yet that's something that you don't want to sell the property of. You want the property
No,
to be exclusive.
no.
Right.
Although it would not be
We
for the
want
United
to
States
hold the rights
marketplace.
to everything.
This is for the Malaysian and out of the United
Yeah.
States market.
Yeah.
So that could
But
be.
That's a big
the
one.
reason we're interested in the internet thing. Like I said, I started talking to clients that are South African,
Sure.
and they said recycling has become the hottest item in the last year or two in South Africa. Well, if you can sell to the various segments all over the world with all these different components and interests, what difference does it make?
All you have to do is localize the website. Each site is then localized by a local, like in South Africa, you get a
That's
South
right.
African company to tailor it
It's
to
easy.
their market because they know that the number 9 is bad luck, so you don't use it. And they, you know,
Right. Well,
Have you
that's
done
what
any
it's
market
for.
studies on how
No.
children love
No,
the
but
problem?
We're just beginning.
They're friends?
This is it.
The kids' friends?
Oh, yeah.
Do they love them?
Oh, yeah.
Do they want to read them over and over?
You have to understand that our kids are not little kids anymore.
No, I know, but they.
Okay, I just want to
But yes.
Is that how you developed it though? Did you come up with Michael to entertain your kids and stuff like that?
Well, he started as a SNU to entertain
Yeah.
his kids.
Yeah.
I think this is him in the
He
beginning.
this was, the hat and the shoes was later.
I did as a child because you
It
know
was
what's
like
this
when
our
that
oldest son? Not
story
much.
was
What's that?
developed, he
Right,
became
right.
my
But you know, but that's
child,
another
and
good
that's when I
idea
kind of,
because that's developing a character.
That's really, that character's really based on our oldest child.
yeah,
the
that
human
is
character.
our eldest child,
Ah,
a long time ago.
All right, so where have we been? Judy, have anything else you want to say?
No, I'm definitely interested. We have to figure out what to help you with.
You know, I said to him before, I said, this recycling is not going to go away.
It's the
I
in
mean,
thing.
it is not going to just disappear. I like, what you've developed so far. I mean, as far as contests, as you mentioned, contests and, membership and things like that, and catalog. It seems like with a contest or even just submitting, what you've done, even if you didn't win, you could get bonus points for product in the catalog, or you could sponsor a membership for one of your little kid friends who isn't a member.
That's how I formed an organization.
Yeah.
An actual organization.
Or do you have the Michael Recycle Foundation or some type of...
Yeah, but I mean, that's like
Yeah,
a
but
5-year-old
you know what I mean.
sponsor
So
his
it's
sister.
not a
Like
nonprofit,
the
but
PTA.
Well, somebody told me that you should look into the nonprofit aspect, which of course I've been involved in big organizations and stuff. And all they basically want is like if you put on a little show or something, you sell these products, they want like 20% of the take.
It's 20 to 25.
Was it going up? I was done it for a couple of years. It was always 20%. But that's okay. To make, make $1 million and give them 25%, who the hell cares?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
But the point is,
You get a lot of money back.
and I think that would be good with something like the Special Olympics or something like children's type of things like retarded children, things like that, because these things can work with any type of child. It encompasses the handicapped along with everything else. It allows them to do something. You're doing something best. So you look good in everybody's eyes. You're not just a profit center. Same type of thing.
Now, of course, all the newsletters, all the marketing material, it'll all have to be on recycle.
Sure.
The whole team.
Goes without saying.
Why wouldn't we do that though? I mean, we got recycled postage. That's the thing that eats you up. That's the thing that eats you up all the time. Because that's the thing. Because I gotta tell you, that's what kills you every time you do a
I
mail.
have tons of old stamps. I can just use them.
We'll get the post office to volunteer. That'll be the thing.
It just seems that, with something like this, I mean, getting it involved in the school and even doing, I mean, I don't know.
Bring it
from my
back to the
background,
community.
But, from my background, I mean, doing seminars and presentations and things like that to sponsor it, I mean, cover my expenses and give me an equity position.
Right.
The other thing people had said to me, and Karen had mentioned that to me when she told me her sister teaches school, and I spoke to a few other people that I don't know if they're teachers or just educators, and they talked about putting together a 3-part lesson plan on recycling that you can sell in a packet to various school districts. So if you started this out, let's say, in the Las Vegas school district, and they became like the sample community or whatever you want to call them, if you put this together, you can interest people, let's say in South Carolina, New York, Nebraska, anywhere, to buy this little kit and bring it on. And if they have enough interest, they will invite you to come to their school districts and speak. Or they will let you come, like I said, dressed as Michael, or doing those kind of things. And of course, you're constantly selling at the same time, and maybe you run a little contest at that presentation, so some child wins something to take home with them. It doesn't have to be Michael, it can be something smaller that's related to the same type of thing. You set aside a budget for that based on what you're doing. So I think it could easily become nationwide, and using the internet as a primary sales force, it becomes universal. I mean, that's what
It's internet and
I'm telling you, they kept me at Vegas airport too long. My mind just kept working on that damn thing every time. It really did. Every time I got bored, I pulled out that pen and I write on something.
I could see him, like the Big Bird character, and there he is. He just goes into the school and he does the seminar, half hour for the class, for the school.
So you're going to be dressed up like a... I was going to say that, do the program, and then as a special surprise, Michael happened to
A very big
It
Michael.
doesn't bother me. I made a fool out of myself many times.
It would be fun.
But it's good, then it comes
But I'm
out.
saying that's going to be great. Then
special
they
guest
see
star.
We're going to work together as freaking friends.
talks about the importance, then they go home, they show their parents, they see the thing, I want to join the club, bing, 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 the catalog and thing, and then it all.
That concept work really well. I work
For the internet, on the internet.
I work for the Milken Family Foundation, which has something called Mike's Math Club. So I'm sitting here listening to this going, all they did was go around to all the schools and teach math to the kids. And they had all of these characters and they had it all worked out. And the response was phenomenal. Everyone loved it.
Mike Milk and Math Club.
Yep. It was 9 years before.
It is phenomenal.
Does
those
they
kids-
run around with a number of questions?
Those kids are going to make a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's my little...
Okay, gang, we're getting away from it.
I don't advertise.
Who's next?
Miss Judy. Karen.
No, I
Karen.
absolutely. When Esther and I first started talking about it, what I was thinking about was the educational market, pretty much. You know, just teaching kids to make a difference in their environment and so forth. But now hearing all the rest of it, if it makes all of us wealthy in the process, then that would be very nice too.
God, you want so
I think
much.
I really do think the market is tremendous. Too.
It's sweat equity until equity comes in. That's the way it goes.
I mean, he's so much cuter than any, like Barney and this new
A million times before.
Oh, yeah.
What's it called?
There's a new character named Arthur, and I don't even know
Oh, I
what it
haven't seen
is.
that.
I just saw a picture of him. He's got big glasses.
What does it look like?
I was just in the bookstore the other day, and
Arthur the Anteater?
Is he an anteater? I don't know.
I grew up with Arthur the Anteater.
No, this is new.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's a rodent or what, but he's bigger than Barney, and he's not very cute either. I mean, Barney was adorable. If I was a child,
Well, I said the thing I love is the open-toed sneakers.
They're so cute. But again, I think the bottom line. I'm sorry.
Karen, one of the questions is, do you think John could see this as something for the desktop publishing that he had gotten excited about when we had talked?
Sure. And the game
Yeah.
thing is great.
It's just like I can go to all different countries again, the books, different languages, different ways.
I think I really feel again, and I know I've said a lot of the same things.
It's a nice
over and over,
title.
but, you know, the little animals, the little bear is cute. But the bottom line is, it's important, and recycling is in, and it's the 90s, and
And it's
without
here
the
to
children
stay.
knowing about it, you know, the product may be good, but the concept and the idea is phenomenal, and I think that obviously we all have to kind of feel that way. I would love to be a part of it. I'd love to have an interest in it and an opportunity to be a part of it. And I'll tell you one thing, I believe in it, and it'll work. And if it's handled right, I mean, come on, we're all like, have been going through things. I want to be to another plateau. I want to have a house in Malibu. I have a lot of dreams, and I work hard now, but I want an opportunity to work on something that I really obviously believe in. And this is just too simple because he's already done and he's already made. And again, save the world, save the earth. This is it's the 90s, and that's the bottom line because we're promoting a product that could help things a lot. So that's what I'm saying. That's all I would love to be a part of it, and I'd love an opportunity to be. And I'll tell you one thing, I believe in it, and it will work if it's handled right. And I think these people. He's so cute, but the concept and the idea is so
It's
special.
very well developed. That's the thing to me. I mean, there's
It's unlimited.
If he's a cute messenger of that
As
idea,
well,
right?
But his
you know, I
message
mean,
is
even
so important.
even doing something like Halloween costumes.
There's no limit.
There's a gazillion
Chris, I sat in the airport one day making a list of things that were under $5, plus a list of things that were over. And about a half
There's no
hour,
limit.
I ran out of paper. I just kept writing and writing and writing. I'd see a kid go by, and an idea would flash.
right.
I mean, it was just no end to what you could do.
You
with it.
just have so much to start with.
But it was just getting the idea
So
out.
much to
They're-
start with.
They're so attached. You know, I mean, I could see this. I said I could see this run as a Sunday cartoon.
Oh,
Break it down to
absolutely.
pieces. You know, and doing that, and then moving it on to a little.
So if you think you've done a lot of drawing already?
You're going to be doing a lot more.
She's got the cards.
You're a great
That's
artist,
separated.
too. Just
She's
great.
got the stories. She has to bring down to frames. That's all that basically comes down to.
We got lots and lots
I
and
mean,
lots of
this is really
stories.
like almost 20 years worth of work at this woman.
Absolutely. I mean, but it
Didn't happen
shows. I mean,
overnight,
You know, when
but
it
that
gets to
was
that point, I don't think she would have to do a lot of that.
she doesn't have. I
told
mean,
you,
she
that
has
would be
it.
She's gonna go to
other
Open
people.
Chris.
Right, there's a crew of
In this position, and
When
then
we
you
sat there the first day.
I mean, it's like people that have one little tiny
And I'm
story.
saying, well, we'll do this and we'll do that. And she says, and what am I going to do? I said, well, why don't you done creating? You'll be busy doing the talk show circuit.
But I'm not kidding about Jan and Stan Berenstain. You have as much. Of
I
course.
couldn't do that.
That-
What I said.
You
And
can
I'll go
edit
with
your
that.
characters. You have so many.
That's what I just said. Then she pulled out the game and I said, give me the phone. And she said, what do you want the phone for? And I said, I want to call Merv Griffin. I think this is a game that belongs on TV. And she just flipped out. Because I could see, I didn't have this vision long term, that how things are put together and stuff, but I don't know how to create from scratch like she can do. And I thought that was just so
Care Bears,
interesting.
all of it. It's just the same.
And you were the one who said you
Wait.
can't believe what happened.
Do you remember what I said?
We sat there.
Stuart was delivering some pillows to my house. That's how I know Stuart. And I said, "You're a guy that puts the the pillow man."
I love her pillow for her. I'm sorry.
It's definitely better than you were delivering a mattress. But anyway, and I said,
I do. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Anyway,
you.
I said to him, do you know anybody that can do manufacturing? And
Yeah,
he said,
sure.
Manufacturing what? So I started to tell him, he said, I can.
And then we just both were like,
We just started talking.
So when's our next meeting, Esther?
I don't know, but we're going to sit down and put it together.
All
The
right.
problem is they're going back Monday. I wanted
Well,
you to meet
she's
them.
not far. Nevada's close.
Yeah,
Next
I
time
was
we'll come
excited
to
enough we could
you.
certainly do it there.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I thought it was important that you meet the people behind this.
right.
And I not just see a book or see a product. I mean, I could have taken that car and shown it to you. And I wanted you to understand the time and energy put behind it, the love of this character. It's not something that she's just doing because she's bored and doesn't know what to do with herself, you know, and things like that. And it's got so much potential and so much direction. I mean, she's probably got more in her little head than we could ever think about in a long time. Because every time we talk to her, she can hear the different ideas.
We don't need to think about
I
it.
keep
She
thinking
can
there's
think about
sawdust stuff here, and I can't do any of that kind of stuff. But it's just
That's why
interesting.
Oprah would be easy. All you have to do is sit there and hold it like that.
I know,
No, you
what's
couldn't.
the way
No, you
start to
couldn't. She would take that away from her and she would hold it.
It's a very
That's what would
endearing,
happen.
easily marketable story.
You know what? She's doing her book club, but I don't think she has a book club for kids yet, does she?
I'm not that I'm aware of. I know you're not. We'll talk some more. And I need
It's nice to meet
Very
you.
nice dynamic to get together and work, right?
Another valley.
I need that other 2 months when you get a chance.
Maybe one day we'll be neighbors.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Can we put this? Okay. So, see what I'm saying? No, but it's just interesting. And I just kept listening to people this whole tax season to see who would really be good for what, and what would fit and what made any sense. You know, just to see what was going on. And I had one or two people that were somewhat interested to talk about things that just said, yeah, thank you very much, I don't have time. And I said, that's fine. It's fine one way or the other. But I don't want somebody to say they're going to do something, like with anything else, and then not really hold their weight or whatever they're doing.
Especially with something like this.
That's really important to me. You know what I'm saying? You have to know that.
Quick work.
Well,
No, you have to have
No, I
the people in
meant-
the right place, whatever it's going
No,
on.
an 80-hour week.
I meant part-time, hard effort.
You know what you just said? You just said an 80-hour week, and I have to tell you, when you start a business, which is what's happening with this, is starting from scratch, you really work your 80 hours a week. You know, I teach people, and I remember. And I always tell them, you got to be willing to work hard. You got to be willing to have money set aside because you're not going to take any money out of this. Maybe for a year or two, that's why all businesses start. And the dedication and everything. And I'll give you my little QT of what I really believe. I believe to really be a successful business person, you have to have just this little bit of larceny in it. I really do.
And that's why you chose this group?
You got a lot of
It's
different
worked for me.
characters.
I thought about it a lot. I've watched people that have knocked themselves out and have gone nowhere. When you really work hard, they've gone nowhere. They didn't give it that little extra something. They didn't maybe just step on the edge of the line willing to maybe fall off or do that little something. They backed away.
You gotta be a little lucky, a little risk-taking.
Yeah. No, it's the combination that works.
But the thing is, that's that again. I'm going to say it again. The product, the bottom line.
Well, I
this-
told you
this
how I
thing,
sat in their house and I just flipped out as I saw this thing.
It is going to be an investment for whoever wants to be in, I guess, that is not going to lose. I can feel it.
And if it's done right, I have a feeling this thing could come back to you real quick. You won't have that 2-year waiting to do it.
I don't think
You know what I'm saying?
so.
You will not be able to take it all back because you're going to have to keep throwing it back in to make more of it happen. But I think you won't be, starving on the street kind of thing.
You're gonna. I'd be willing to bet, almost predict, that what's your biggest problem is that after you get a plan going and it starts moving, you're suddenly going to be inundated with people trying to throw money at you and get to be part of it.
But then we have to become selective.
Exactly. But I mean, it's like your biggest problem with this whole thing may be who you say no to.
Maybe what you do is
God, I can't wait. I can't wait to see that. Natalie has a mother that lives with her that's very autistic too and wants to know what her participation is going to be. And I said to Patrick last night, we'll be busy sending her to the bank.
Well, of course.
That's her job, going back and forth to the bank.
Schedule your appointment.
That's our goal. I mean, it's her idea.
I mean, she's a neat lady. It was just funny. What am I going to do? Well, you're going to be running back and forth to the bank. You're going to be the social secretary.
Right down to mother, daughter, sons. They all grow.
You know.
Unbelievable.
My older son, he does.
So I want you to remember when you all become rich, you got to bow down to me because introduce you.
So that's something for you.
That's your cut.
That's why.
Esther, we'll have to do it by video conference because you'll probably be in Tahiti and we'll.
Let me tell you, I can't wait.
You'll be on Michael's
How many people have vacation yet? Where are you going? I'm so busy trying to do all these things I can't even walk out of my
Well, when that's it.
Fiji Islands,
But it's worth it. You can put in that year or so to do all this stuff and then reap it. It's worth doing. People don't understand.
That island could be a real resort. Yeah, absolutely. Floating resort.
We have to find an undiscovered island. We'll call it the Island of Michael.
Right. How about a Michael recycle summer camp? Wouldn't that be?
See, there's no end. When you put your mind to it, there's no end.
Win a contest a week at Michael Recycle Summer. That's a great idea.
Trash
There's,
dump.
you know what?
That's what it is. It's a tip. It's a tip.
The bottom line is to get the right people.
Slides here, the big garbage cans. Slide right in.
Put it here.
Whatever you do so that it wouldn't be on your shoulders from owning the business or whatever. If you're self-providing, you want to incorporate. That's wow.
I'm making my first investment today. I'm buying you all breakfast.
Cool. It's a write-off.
What do you see as the
First
next
Michael
step, immediate
Recycle
next step?
I think we need to go over everything as far as the business plan. What I would like from all of you is to really, we went around the table and said, hey, rah, we love all this. We want to be interested. Some kind of proposal of what you really would like out of it, what you think your role is as far as, what you want back. Do you want to get paid for services? Do you want a percentage? How do you want the percentage marked and things like that? So we can go back to the attorney and say, we've got these group of people, and the role you see yourself play. Like what portion of this you're going to
So
do.
you want us to think about that? Or
Write something out so we get some kind of a feel
where
for
we want to be?
yeah, where you want to be, what you want in return, what your role is going to be in this, what you want to do, what's your participation.
What would you like to be in charge of?
I'd like you to.
Because I'm going to tell you guys what I do best. What I really do best is making sure that you do what you say you're going to do.
that's for sure.
I'm telling you,
That's for
We
sure.
all know that, don't we?
that's the truth.
Well, that's all right.
I mean, you
Crack
have
the
to
whip.
recognize what you're good at.
You're the one who brought us here.
I was president of an organization for a couple of years. They had president after president said, nobody will do anything. That was their argument, okay? And I said, we'll see. So they voted me as president. I didn't ask for the job. And the problem was, they were asking people to do things. And they said, okay, I'll do that. They gave them a title. They never knew what they expected of them. Nobody ever told them what their job was. So I called up and I said, hey, I'd like you to be blah, blah, blah. And this is what the job entails. And this is what I expect you to do. I will not leave you to sink or swim on your own. I'll be there to help you if you need me. But if you can't put in the time, you don't want to do the job, tell me now. Okay? They took the job. I mean, some people were wonderful. Some people I could have been on the phone every night. They did the job because they said, I don't want to hear her voice again. You understand what I'm saying? The point was, I could be sweet and sweet, or I could be one way or the other. But I said, if you're really here to do this, you're not here just to take the money out. You're going to have to play your part. If you don't want to do that, I'm going to be after you. And it's going to work the same way. I don't want somebody to say, I'm going to have this in June, and in August saying, well, I haven't had a chance to get to that yet. Because then we're missing out on something. So if we're going to make a commitment, and we're going to be a small, cohesive group making this happen, we've got to do that. And if you're going to be responsible for any one particular area, you have people under you, I expect you to get them to do their part, or get rid of them. Because I think time is of the essence, and I think it's important to do it right, because the image you project, the first time it goes out, is the image that stays with you. And you got to be able to do that. I didn't put together these couple of businesses by being lazy and sitting in my backyard. I've worked it out. I put the money, the energy, and the whole works into it. And I expect the same thing. Because I don't know about them, but if you guys don't want to do that, I don't want to do it. It's real simple. And I'm not trying to be pushy or nasty or otherwise. I'm always honest and upfront. That's the way I do business. I intend to continue to do it that way. But I want to make this thing happen. This is very real to me. This isn't a lot. How many times have I called and bugged you?
I know.
Okay? She's never 100% sure, and I'm more than 100% sure. It's funny, I was filling out a little questionnaire yesterday, and I'm looking at when I did my... Okay, I forget. I'm too busy talking, I can't write and talk at the same time. Anyway, the point is that I think what we'll do is, and you and I can probably sit down and do that ourselves, is we'll put up what we're going to do. We're going to put up an agenda of what needs to be done step by step, and we're going to put dates on that. And the dates will be as realistic as we can put. Can we do that?
Yes.
I mean, you and I have done that before, so I know that'll work. You know what I'm saying? And we got to figure this out. I think the primary things we need to figure out before we say we're getting up and going is we need to know how to price these things. We need to come up with a realistic pricing, so it has to go and be looked at manufacturing-wise, and what it takes to make. At what volume point do we get a cost break? And then we have to decide, is it something like $5 extra as a membership fee? Will that be enough to cover our basic costs? We got to look at some of that too. You know, we're not going to make a profit by charging a fortune. We're going to make a profit by selling value. Selling to start out with. We want to be fair up front. We can make it back later.
With the doll, distributing it, getting it, choking, whatever kind of thing. What kind of backings and insurance and things we would need to have.
It doesn't eat hair, does it?
Oh, I'm not saying that.
Remember that doll that ate hair?
Yeah, I'm not saying anything.
No, that's true.
That's right. Turn it off.
Oh my
I
God.
just think the products
Last year, I think.
are so cute, you know?
That's frightening. The one with the fork.
Gaster? Oh, yeah.
I thought it was
Oh,
my
Crash.
but I don't-
Crash, the cartwheel.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
I want to see that one in costume.
Yeah.
That'll be a trick. That'll be a trick.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Acrobat.
But can't you see that in the cartoon?
Absolutely.
That's why I said a cartoon. Can't you just picture that?
Absolutely.
Like I said, I have the vision. I can't do the stuff.
Well, you know what?
Crash.
Yeah, I like that.
It really
Isn't
is.
it amazing?
No, I like that. I like that purple thing that does nothing. That's what I want. That's what I want to be. I'm a purple. I'm a purple person.
After that last speech, you want to like something that does nothing?
No, that's me. I want to be that person.
This must feel like ripping a part of you out,
I just
putting
want
it
to
in
keep
front of
going.
everyone.
5,000, 20,000, another. I need to open another bank account.
All growing pains, get used to it.
My babies.
Yes, sir.
Oh, get used to it.
I guess I'm not.
I'm the one that told you.
I'll keep looking right now.
I think we all want to be. I mean, it's unfortunate. No matter
Well, you know what? I do have a whole bunch
That's
of
right.
ideas.
You can be the best in the world.
And
Nobody
I've
knows it.
seen
Just
that.
gotta live for
I've
it.
seen that in all kinds of businesses. All kinds of businesses.
Stewart.
I don't have
Yeah.
my business card. I'm a mom right now, so I've got this.
Here's more.
Does anybody need my card?
Grocer too.
Oh, great.
My son does anybody need my card?
Here's my mom's card. It's not business card right now.
That's all right. It's okay. Take one.
You can get a hold of me that way.
Right.
Another one here. Somebody here.
Karen.
Okay, then I have to make my big announcement. If anybody gets any other business out of this deal, I get 10% as a family.
Too much
For the connections. Nobody needs my card, right? You all know where to find me?
You're easy to find.
But I also want to say thank you very much for all of you just being here. It's incredible.
Do you have it all?
Oh, yeah.
Sure, I think it's my business, so I'll do it.
Look at this. Wow.
Dancing Pixels. Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
Put some vision in your mind right
This is
there.
great.
Gosh, I can't believe I didn't do it.
And the phone number's changed. It's correct on the card.
Dancing Pixels. I love it.
Yes.
Pixels.
It's a wild idea.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Isn't that clear?
Yeah. In fact, it's great.
It's very clever.
You need a no taxes card?
You have one too?
Why don't you? I got.
I went to a conference yesterday.
why don't
I don't
Because
have
I
a
mean, everybody else has
We
it.
can
Yeah,
get it from
bring one around.
I do have it. I didn't bother doing the other.
We don't have one with us. We have one with us. We have to change it.
I have 2 boxes of cards that are this big. I can't use one of them.
Wrong address.
I'll get more cards. I'll give them to Esther. She'll give me one.
I'm just going to write on them.
You
But I
can
mean,
recycle them.
we recycle those. That's right.
Put a
You got to
little
recycle and
clip over it. Yeah, we have
Actually, you know, that's another good idea. You take a card like from IBM and you recycle it down to micro-recycle. This is what happened to this person. They got recycled it from the big corporations to the smaller environment to grow something. You know, like you put the guy's name up, whatever he's doing. It says formerly CEO of, even though that's a bogus company. It's not really real. You're just so stupid.
we're happy for you.
I really do.
So she nudged me for this and now it's sitting here.
We're happy for you. Your ideas.
Reading
I
cards,
do a lot of work now.
summer camp.
Listen, I want to do
Most of my life.
I'm driving to work on the 405.
for days.
I know how this goes. I
I was back up in traffic on the 405 and I wrote the verse for the birthday party. You know, I'm in bumper traffic on the 405 and I'm thinking about this. And then the one came to
Oh, yeah, she lives in the valley.
so I went into the office, they want to talk to me. Don't say a word. I had to go over to my desk right down before I forgot. So now you can do it.
So what's your timetable for like the next time we get together or what?
I don't know, within a month, I'm thinking. I don't know, I gotta really, I mean, you know, I was 100% sure this is something I wanted to do. I wasn't sure anybody else would.
Yeah.
I miss both of
So
them.
I wanted to see. I mean, I thought, like Jeff initially said when he started talking, that, you know, this is going to be good, he's seen a bunch of them, a lot of them fall apart. I have people that I've done the same people where I've gone and signed off and listened to things that put lots of money into what they did and they both failed. You know, not being negative, I think they put in too much money to start with and not enough thought was part of it. They did not have the presentation kind of stuff she had. They just had an idea. The idea was not formulated.
The whole point is accuracy first, then momentum.
Yeah. Sometimes I think people run and put the cart before the horse. They're so anxious to sell something, they don't think it through all the way, and because of that, they've missed one important component.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, okay, we had talked about making this a big deal for Christmas. I think we're too late for this Christmas, to be honest with you. I think if you're not ready by June 1st and ready to go, you kiss Christmas goodbye. But I do think we should go to more trade shows. We should see what's going on with a lot of this stuff. I want to know what else is out there. I've started looking at the web, and now, as soon as you connect me, now the stuff is at home again. I've had a lot of people give me ideas about that. Do you do a lot in piggybacking on directories and molds for that kind of thing? I have a client that has a friend, the guy was a big shot right now, years ago, and now they built a big rental house.
No, that's a great idea too.
And that we're all hooked up together
Big
as
rental house
whatever
in
what's
Hawaii.
needed
The guy just
as
plays
far
around,
as
he runs his
whatever kind
house.
of business we're going to do, but we can all be,
But he's big
whether
on
we're
he's
there
doing all this internet stuff with people, how to get to be the number one or number two person you see on the news, how to connect. I don't talk too much on the phone. Look, I need information on the show. I was telling him, I said, go and look, see what you can steal from other people, the way you want to look at it. And then if you need any kind of connection or some final thing, you can look at it and how to make it number one.
Right.
You may not need to do that.
It's pretty straightforward. There's a portion of text
One
which is
stupid
searching.
class and that's it.
It's just a bunch of words you put in for search. It's pretty straightforward. The more you put them in, the more votes you get. Just tell.
Because he said, no, I'll be happy with that. Let's pull that off the board. I said, well, that question,
Load it in.
talk about that later.
Upgrades
Big
from 1
deal
to
if you do
10.
after you work. I was hoping you'd invite us all to Hawaii. That was my thing.
Well, I did for 20 years. I went there and conducted and arranged for different artists.
Listen, we could have an annual
I'd be there
meeting
like
there.
8-10
They have this
times
huge place, it's gorgeous. They have big.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
Let me tell you.
Sure.
I mean, this guy was one of my first clients when I first started doing stuff. I probably,
Oh, absolutely. It was on
I'm
today.
doing that about 21 years now.
Take the hard disk.
20, 20.
And I'm now preparing a new big show coming to look, so it's going to be all on hard disk. Yeah, but I'm also going to be in the show playing. So,
Let's do it.
Now you feel better, right?
Yes.
She was so nervous, and I said, these are nice people. They're not going to eat you up alive and kill you. Don't worry about it.
as opposed to when I
Even
used
though
to
don't
be there,
participate, they're not going to hurt you.
Well, now
strings
we
and
live
harp and
through,
brass.
right?
Those were the days, let me tell you.
no, you know,
This was the easy
I
part.
fortunately
Oprah, that's the hard
among
option.
other things.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Here's the one-night concert.
Was it that hard?
Huh?
Oh,
Was it that hard?
Well, I had an unusual situation. I was sitting in the green room, and they started the show, and they had some other show on, or cartoon show on the monitor. And so then this girl comes in and she flips the station, and the taping had started. And just as they flip the station, Oprah says, "Let's get the expert out here and see what she thinks."
She had no idea what
The
was
beginning
going
of
on.
my own show.
And see what you think about what.
You know, I actually saw that show. I do remember that.
I was so
short out. I
Just
mean,
can't go to torture
I
chamber.
kind of sort of knew what they,
right.
you know,
But I mean, you know, when you
I was, you know, people who had seen it said you looked a little stiff to begin with.
right.
But I mean, I was like a deer caught in the headlights. It's like, it's like I didn't see the beginning of my own show.
Can you roll that back, please?
It came out okay. But you know, it's like after that, I've always told people when you go on a talk show, if you see the beginning of your own show, you'll be fine. The rest is easy.
The Michael Recycle show will be the next. Another little thing. So many things, but I appreciate the opportunity, and I want to thank you.
I thank you all, really.
You know, without the creator, we wouldn't be here.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
you know, I just hope things work out, and I got a lot of different personalities and a lot of different people, but hopefully we can put it all in together with the one big
But that's what makes any corporation. If everybody has the same personality, the same point of view, what would you have?
You don't have any new
You're right up against a dead end. You have to have people that say, hey, wait a second. Here's what I think.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, it's the best thing is that if, you know, two people think exactly the same way, one of them is unnecessary. You've got to have people that have all different points of view.
And everybody here has said something, if not many things, where I went, yeah, that's exactly. You know?
And again, I really feel, and I know with business and sales, and I run things, and you know, Jeff does a lot of work, and the bottom line is the product. If you have the product and you believe in the product, and all your spiel and all your work just will pay off. And that's what I think is important, and I believe in it. There's no doubt. I mean, it's a special little thing handled the right way, as Esther got me excited a few months ago. There's the options are
I think what appeals to me most, I mean, it's
What's that?
very
Where's my
well.
pillow?
Nothing.
You know, it's
I said I barely said anything.
Maybe it was just me. That took it in your ass.
No, I think what's good, I mean, first of all, it's very well developed. And like I said, you know, recycling is not going to go away, but there's so many applications. It's like, you don't know, almost,
And there
you
are
know,
other,
right
and there
now, you
are
don't know
other
which
people
direction
doing
to run in
recycling.
first.
You know, if you go through the internet, you will see a lot of. Well, that was one of the things I was saying to Jeff. You need to prioritize and put them in some kind of order, even in the way you present it. It's not that you don't have it out there, you don't want to sell it, you don't want to move it. It's the timing of the presentation that gets exciting at the right time. Certain things, what order they come out in.
You have to have a progression.
Well,
You
that's
can't give it all the way at once.
Well, is there a National Recycle Week or something that?
No, but we could start one.
Well, maybe there is. There's a launching. I'll bet there is.
Well, you should look at the internet first. I'm not hooked up properly yet. I am, but I'm not. Because he just brought the connection that I had from Vegas today. He's going to hook me up.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
But I've got,
happy to.
but you know how many people I have looking and checking things out for me because I couldn't get onto everything?
7.
I mean, people have bought me stuff like you can't do it. That's a good number. I
Yeah,
I didn't count, but that's a good number. But I'm just saying, because I want to know what the competition is. You can look under toys for recycling, there's a bunch of that. There's people that are writing books and literature on the importance of recycling. I think they're more heavy duty, but they're not looking at the marketplace that we're looking at. But nobody
Your books aren't published yet, right?
No.
And I can see interactive books. Because the education is
Find a way. I want to find a way for somebody to buy into that and get those links over the internet or something if they need it.
We could take one as a sample book and just do it for the internet.
But how do we stop people that didn't pay to get into that to do
We
it?
have a password on the
Okay,
app. Give us
I
a
need to
credit
know how
card.
that works. Yeah. Because I was concerned, like, rather than let's say hardcover and shipping books to South Africa, that would be prohibitive cost-wise between the shipping and the printing.
No, just put the files somewhere and you can download them. You have no cost of manufacturing, and and your costs are lower to then.
And then I started talking to Karen and John, and they start publishing to putting the books into different languages. Because he gets involved, he's involved with Italy and all that. In other words, I don't want it to be something that happens in California and Nevada. I want this a worldwide name.
There are companies though that really do specialize in just localization. There's 20 or 30 different companies
But we
that
have
deal
to be
with it.
concerned again from a budget standpoint and how much we can do without paying out too many people too much.
How do you do an international trade?
Trash it.
Through the internet, I think it goes through. What I was concerned about my tax sensitivity, my concern was, as you sell things in different parts of the country, what's your obligation to sales tax? You know when you order from a mail order catalog, certain places leave you go tax free. I know there's pick you up for taxes. I don't know how to find out, but I will find out. But I'm concerned, and then I was concerned that I didn't know a lot about import export. And somebody said something to me that I thought was wonderful. Assuming they're right, but I'm going to check it out. Import, you need to have a lot of knowledge. Export, the companies that do the shipping take care of it for you. In other words, let's say we select a carrier that gives us a good discount, like an Airborne Express. They in turn would ship, let's say, as an example, to maybe 40 different countries.
They handle the customs.
And they will handle the customs and the brokerage stuff and all that stuff. While if you bring the stuff in, you have to have your own customs broker, you have to understand. And I would like to know more about that. I'm beginning to take all these oddball classes. My biggest problem is always time constraints. I mean, that's what's killed me with the Vegas stuff and all the other kind of things. You know, how many places can you be at the same time?
Throw something away because it's a huge trash can.
And as I say to everybody, I'm getting too old for this shit. I can't keep running along with it. I should have been doing this when I was 20.
Yeah, well, we just have a lot of people now.
But I have a lot of energy. Yeah, before they put me in the wheelchair, we're doing it now. You know, it's funny. When Consolidated had its 10th year anniversary, I don't know if we were that we put these labels on the tax returns that said 1979, 1980. And my first couple came in, I knew them from day one, and when they came in, they were carrying twin boys that were like no more than 4 months old. They come in and said, we've been coming here 10 years. I said, so how old are the boys? Because it always coincides, you know. And she said, yeah. She said, oh my God, this feels so old. I said, well, look at us. We all have a little salt and pepper in our hair. Her husband, very young, was going to work for her. I said, if we can get Gordon to take his hat off, we can see if he still has any. And, you know, and we kidded about it, and we teased. And she said, oh my God, what's going to happen when it's 20 years? 20 years will be next year. What's going to happen when it's 20 years? I said, oh, we'll all have our walkers.
Walkers.
As long as we stick together, we're okay.
It doesn't color of label, right?
Right.
10 to 20.
That company keeps trying to sell me stuff. When it was 15 years, they sent me stuff. I
Just remember the day. When it's June 1st, 1997. This is the day of the beginning, right? June 1st, 1997. Hopefully, all of us one day will look back to this day and say, wasn't that funny? A nice breakfast, you know? We were all cheerleading around the table.
If we knew then what we know now.
Yeah.
Any idea?
Hopefully, we won't be saying that.
Well,
I'm kidding.
I meant in a positive way.
Nothing like behind bars.
Behind bars.
What you say there behind the car? Now I'm wanting bumper stickers.
Bumper stickers.
Now I'm wanting bumper stickers. I heard car.
Are you still running this?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Take it all.
Is there tape still left?
Yeah.
I turned it over one time.
No, but I'm just saying, it's just interesting. Every time you see something, you get this recognition once you get this picture in your mind. And all of the different things that can be done. You know, everybody did a segment. We want to do it all. And in progression, of course.
Yeah.
Which progression, though?
I don't know about you, but I come first. People keep telling me that. You know, all last week I kept yelling at people that they all came in for taxpayer and said, you keep forgetting the basic rule of pay yourself first. You can just keep doing it. And they said, we don't have any money to do that. I said, then send a little less to the credit card and put something away for you. You got to do that. You know, it's just that kind of thing. You got to be good. You know, we're doing this as a means of putting away for us.
How I mean, hypothetically, I mean, what kind of, how would it really start, you know?
How would it start when I form a Nevada corporation?
That's it, right?
Yeah. And I know how to do that because I've done that for 2 people in my year and a half that I'm doing it. It's much easier. Let me tell you, it's much easier than California. California wants all kinds of crap.
Let me tell you something.
Well, we're going to try that.
I don't care where you live in the United States, you should be having Nevada corporations because there are more corporations formed in Nevada every single day than around the rest of the United States combined. And the reason for that are the tax reasons and all of the other reasons that go along with business. You will not get penalized for being in business. Like you do in these other states.
But you have to do everything for Nevada.
I was just going to say.
You have to do it.
But you don't have to live there.
No, but you have to have an address and you have to have a bank account.
But you can live anywhere you want to. You don't have to live.
The money has to go through there. If you
There's a
open
lot
a
of
bank
good
account,
reasons
if you open a bank account in California calls you a foreign corporation. So the money has to flow there. But it doesn't matter. I see this ultimately as having a manufacturing plant in one location, distribution locations, and an office or environmental kind of thing. That's how I see that. Because you have to have those points. And of course, any place you want to do that kind of stuff, or manufacturing or anything of that nature, is in a place that has no state tax. A couple of years ago when I was looking into doing no tax and making that around the U.S. kind of routines as kind of like an upgrade for an black type of environment, I looked at the states that had no state tax. And I was saying to Jeff, if we ever get that, well, we'll just have this thing set up and we can do all the actual processing. We should do this in Wyoming. Because Wyoming was so inexpensive to do things that they don't have the state tax. 2 weeks later, I pick up the Wall Street Journal. There's the governor of Wyoming going to New York to try to solicit and entice big companies to open their offices there or their processing business. They were looking for more companies to be doing business in their state, and they're trying to pull all these money people over. So isn't this interesting? I was looking at them before they came looking for these people. So you just have to be able to find the things that fit right, that communicate well, and that get everything rolling, that has access to be able to ship all over the world. You don't want to be in a little town where you can't get the stuff out. You have to have access without any extra fees attached and things like that. But you know, there's research on all that stuff. You can just pick it up depending upon your needs. So the next step is the money step. We're going to look at the grants. We're going to look at who else we can get interested. Okay. Well, I'm gonna.
I mean, I've got things set up right now.
Well, then what I might do is pick 1 or 2 days. I'll try to get 1 or 2 people I have, the 1 or 2 people, maybe we can do a presentation together. We'll see how good this takes.
I think at that time it would be important, at least for my guy and stuff, that you two were there with the product and showing the stuff. And this is for
Michael is staying. There's another one staying here. So I will have that available. So I mean, we don't have just tell, we have show and tell. As far as my
the idea,
yeah, Michael is staying. We have a set of books. We won't have the presentation because I can never do that like that. But you know, so we have the idea and everything. So we're all set there.
Cool.
Well, I thank everybody for coming. I hope it's the beginning of greatness.
Sure sounds like it.
You know where to find me if you need anything.
I guess we can put these things
I look forward to getting together again. Oh,
I do.